Today, as we start the show, this one mic. We hail. And boom, throughout the stadium, there is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughs up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And then at that particular time, I lost it. Devon dropped. Yes. Today,
Blog Talk Radio.
Start the show, this one mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And you can do that. People talk a lot about their training staff.
Blog.
Yes, today, as we start the show, this one mic.
In the road. It's in the road. I can't do all of it, boy.
Let go.
Here we go. We got the musician in the building. We got the young in the business. We know what it was, man. I heard it. I heard the song on the way back to the airport. That's all. And I saw the rundown. I was like, that's all that came in my head when I was watching all this stuff. And we'll get to it. Y'all know we talking about without even talking about it. That's right. We'll get to it in a minute. We ain't gonna do it, but we're gonna bring my guys in. Welcome to RSG One Mic. I'm here in the studio with my guys. We're gonna go to the youngin', man. How you doing, man? I know you feeling good. It's almost NFL draft time.
Oh yeah, we got some. You got a lot of stuff going on. NBA playoffs, NFL draft coming up. I just looked up and the draft is Thursday. Come on, man. Saturday we got Shakur and Valdez, a fight I've been looking forward to for 2 years. I didn't even put it on the rundown, but I'm gonna have to talk about it. But yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, then we got my man over there, the man from Chicago. Watching the team fight for whatever over there. What's happening? What's happening to the Hammer?
Man, it's disappointing. We didn't get swept like people thought we would, but it's just been ugly, man, since game 2. So, but yeah, man, I mean, they don't want to drive. They want to fall in love with that jump shot. They can't shoot. So, I don't understand the strategy, but Zach LaVine being out with COVID protocols, it's just ugly. So, Caruso out. So yeah, but. It's a good season, but we gotta get the pieces we need to do. Get some more big guys, get some shooters. The big decision is, do you pay Zach LaVine the max? I'd say no right now. So I free up that money for some other pieces. So I think we could live without Zach. So yeah. So.
All right. Well, it's good. Well, you're in the house with D. Wilson, the youngin' and Hammer. Welcome to RSG One Mic. Come and check us out. On all those channels, we want to thank our good fellas from Bowman Medical Group, our sponsors in Mind Match Development on this one group for being with us. And you can always get us. Go to Real Sports Guys. You can check us out on all platforms of that. Go to realsportsguys.com and hear these cats do whatever. And they got a classic. The last time we did the draft, there was classic. If you want to go back into the catalog, these two. Arguing over some linemen and still coming back, shot fired. We got some good stuff. So when we get to the NFL, I'm gonna sit back, get my popcorn ready for this one. So, but we got a lot to talk about here in the rundown, and so we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get into the open mic a little bit and do what we do. I got all kinds of stuff happening here right now. I'm messing up a little bit. It's the end of the road, so we'll get into the open mic and talk about what's happening on the end of the road. The Nets are in the building. The playoffs is off and going, and everything is going, and then we just see the Nets crash and burn. We've been following this story all season long, and it was like that train wreck you can see coming, but nobody wanted to admit it. A couple of us was like, they just don't have the bones to do it, and finally it crashed. To them bullies on the block. them Celtics, which we're gonna have to get to. A lot of this discussion happening has been focused on the Nets, but we're gonna start with the Nets, but we gotta talk about the Celtics at some point. We'll get to that. But let's talk about them getting swept, man. I'm gonna start with you, Youngin. What are your thoughts when you look at this? You look at the post game pressers, all this stuff. Just sum up your feelings about what we've been seeing with the Nets.
So, for lack of better terms, lack of a better term, we heard it a lot in football, especially we're talking about the Los Angeles Rams. You've heard of a strategy called stars and scrubs. With this team, I don't want to call these guys scrubs because these guys have done some stuff in the league. You guys got to have guys like Seth Curry, Patty Mills, Dragic. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are not scrubs. I don't want to call them scrubs, but it's the same principle applies where you put the stars together and you try to just kind of try to fit other pieces into the puzzle that don't necessarily fit the puzzle. And I think that was a big problem because when you got a team like Boston that really took their time and game planned for this team, and they know, I know towards the end of the season, the Nets have been showing like some really good ball movement. They were sharing the ball pretty well, but at the end of the day, when the playoff lights come on, you have Kyrie and KD. They want to ISO. You know what I'm saying? That's their identity. And when the Celtics said, you know what, we're going to play boxes and elbows, and you're going to have to make a move before you get to the nail, or else you're going to have two guys on you, and it's probably going to be a turnover. So when they decide to make that chess move, you got to rely on the other guys, and they're betting, Bruce Brown, he can drop 30 points, but he's not going to beat us, and that's pretty much what happened. And I think that's the next step for the Nets. I know I said it in our text chain already, but yeah, that's my biggest thing. That's my biggest point. We know we didn't get the best performances out of Kyrie and KD. Kyrie kind of disappointed me because the first game he came out in Kobe mode. He was out here cussing out the fans, giving everybody the mean mug, throwing the middle finger. I was like, man, we're gonna get a crazy series because we're gonna get Kyrie playing angry out here, and it never happened again. After game one, he never it's not even just about the shots not going in. He never really had that kind of attitude again. So I'm just like, we never get what's going on with the consistency. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know we're getting game to game. Then you had the whole Kevin Durant thing where, he's passive, and then all of a sudden, game 4, he shows up and, he's playing like himself again. And it's just like, yeah, you got to get more consistency out of your stars. But I think the biggest thing is, hats off to Boston. They forced the Nets to go to Plan B, and their Plan B was just not good enough in either of the games. And we talked about it throughout the end of the season. The Nets do not close out games well. Like they will be up on mediocre teams like the Indiana Pacers, the Cleveland Cavs. They'll be up by 20, and then all of a sudden you look up, it's a 6-point game. You can't do that when you're playing against Boston. Boston's a real team, you know what I'm saying? And every single all these games, I don't think any of these games were a real blowout. You know what I'm saying?
They're all close.
These games are all decided 5 or 6 points. But it's just who closes the game out the best. And people talk about the best closers in the game, the best closers. They always talk about who is going to take the last shot, who's going to take the game winner. But closing a game is not just the final possession. Closing the game is when it's 3 minutes left, you down by 7. How do I make it down? How do I cut it to 5? Okay, we're down by 5. How do I make it a 1-possession game? It's a 1-possession game. How do we take the lead? You know what I'm saying? That's closing a game. That's the thing that's often overlooked. And your team that really doesn't defend well, it's hard to close games because that 7-point lead ends up turning into a 10-point lead, and then it comes down to 5. But then now it goes back up to 11. Now it's like you know what I'm saying? You can never consistently make that run, and that was the Nets' biggest problem, in my opinion.
So Hammer, everybody's been assigning blame, right? They've been doing the percentages, everything else. When you look at this, as I would put in your words that have been made famous over here, this debacle, because that's what it is.
Not really debacle. No, I won't call that. I mean,
You wouldn't call it a
go ahead.
debacle.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
No,
both
because I think they were overrated. They were overrated from the get-go. They're overrated from the
Where
get-go.
would you put the blame? Where would you put percentage of blame, or how would you rank the blame on whatever this is?
I put Sean Marks at 50%. He needs to go. He made some really questionable. I mean, the bottom line is that let's just keep it real. People are gonna be upset with me saying this. KD and Kyrie are Robins. They ain't Batman. Plain simple. And you got two Robins, you ain't winning no title. And you saw that there's no dog in them. You saw that in the series. Anybody with any dog in them would not allow themselves to get swept, not allow them to come in your building and sweep you twice. It just get no dog in them. And so, everyone tried to have this false narrative about KD being the superstar. He's with Golden State and Brooklyn and this thing together. They were overrated from the get-go. The overrated coach, Nash. But I think the real problem is Sean Marks. I mean, I do not like the way they constitute this team at all. Yeah, Claxton on the floor, 3 of 20 from free throw line. That brother should be in the locker room. I mean, I don't care how good a rebounder. You 3 of 20, you're a liability. So I just don't like the way he put things together. I mean, you can make this excuse about Joe Harris being gone. Yeah, but you had Patty Mills. You had Dragic came in there on a buyout. So the bottom line is that I blame the Sean Marks. First and foremost, Steve Nash is not equipped to lead a team. He's shown that these last 2 years. And the bottom line, too, is that Kyrie and KD are not cornerstones to winning a championship, period. As Darnell broke it down, they're not defensive dogs enough. They're passive. I mean, you saw, 2 and 3, game 2 and 3, man, KD looked like an average player. He looked like, was just passive, man. No dog in him. No fight. The only person who really had fight in there was Blake Griffin. His diminishing skills, but he came in there and balled out with the time he had. He's the only guy I saw with a sense of urgency. And Dragic sometimes too.
Patty Mills
by the way.
Who
led them in rebounds? Dragic. I mean, that's a bit. Who led them in rebounds? Think about that. So I mean, the bottom line is that no, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm surprised by the sweep. Yeah, I thought it'd be 6, but not 4 straight. No, heads need to roll, and that's why Harden won out. He was tired of messing with Kyrie. The world is flat, and again, I'm not putting down the brother's religion. He's Muslim. Again, that's his choice, Ramadan. But he should have done like he did. What was a game 2? Get the banana, get some sustenance. The sun came down. Get some food in you.
He probably did at some point. He probably did.
He did the game 2, but I didn't see the other games. But
he might have did it at halftime.
They got swept. But Kyrie's drama. I'm sick of Kyrie's drama, and like I said,
Hammer, I think you're hitting on something. I want to get to that point. I think the part that's missing here that I don't see changing, at least I have not seen any evidence, is leadership.
Yeah.
Neither one of these two, and this is where people get stuck, is winning a championship is all about leadership. Like we've had a lot of Hall of Famers and great legendary people. Like you can name them, but not all of them are great leaders. Not the kind of sacrifice you need to have to win a chip and win multiple chips. And when KD won in Golden State, the thing that made it great for him is that he didn't have to do all the other pieces. He could just step up in the moment that's great for him as ball. But when you want to leave and build something, that you got to have leadership that means at certain points you're going to alienate people. Like there are clear ways you got to win. It's got to be the teams that win. There's a clear understanding across the board about how we getting after it, and there's like no breaking the chain.
Yeah.
And if you ain't on board, you won't be there long, right? And I don't see that because the one thing that the thing that requires him to do it is to do to Kyrie what LeBron had to do to Kyrie. and I don't see him doing it. Now I'm not going to knock him for that.
I'm gonna knock him for that because I mean,
I'm
why you
saying I'm
gonna
not
bring
gonna
him?
knock him for that.
Why you gonna bring him?
Because
Why you
at
gonna
a
bring him?
certain
Why
point,
you gonna bring him
then
to Brooklyn?
but then he can't complain. Hey, if you want to be knocked out by Celtics every year, that's on you. I'm at the point where like you do you, but at the same time, you ain't gonna get no championship. I'm not gonna follow that line of that logic. I'm not gonna listen to that post game conference and try to make excuses. I don't care what kind of wings you get. If he can't lead, you can't win.
Yeah, true.
Like you can't win unless people get mad at Butler, but sometimes you just got to be that dude.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do it. But the fact of the matter is that from the coach to the GM to him, there's no one who said this ain't gonna fly. Under what scenario does anything that Kyrie's doing gonna win out? And we all agree Kyrie's a great player, but that ain't championship behavior. That ain't, especially now that you gave these dogs in the Celtics a little taste of what they can do. Like they out the door right now, and they out the door for multiple years. I don't care what else you get. They out the door. These cats, they don't taste a little bit of blood, and it's gonna be hard to get that genie back in the bottle. That's just one team in the East, and so to win that, you gotta have. There gotta be a level of commitment where it almost is like, people get mad at Chris Paul. Now, you ain't all got to be Chris Paul irritants, but there's got to be a direct communication. This is how we doing it. And if you ain't on it, and I just don't see it. I know it's not Kyrie. So, like, you can't even count on him to do that. I know that's not him. And he ain't even going to pretend. The one thing I like about Kyrie is he ain't even going to pretend that's him. Kyrie ain't never told you nothing different. Like, if you want to say, like, you can say whatever, but he has been him. And he's always been that way. And so I ain't mad. Like, but everybody's kind of let him do him.
But that's the problem, though. I think
Yes.
Marcus hit this in the group chat, but it's completely true. They set this up this way. Like KD and Kyrie, they picked Steve Nash because he, like personality wise, he is more in their lane. Of the sort of like 70s hippie vibe. Steve Nash speaks that language, and he really has to be the guy. But I don't really see it from him. But
that would be
if it's
different
gonna
if you
be
were like
somebody,
Phil Jackson, had them reading books. But what did Phil tell Mike? Go get Rodman, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like Phil is as hippie as they get. But when it came game time, Mike, you better go get Rodman.
Yeah.
Right?
Get him out of Vegas. Get him out of
Right?
Vegas.
Go get him. What
Yeah,
did Phil say? Go get him, didn't he?
He did.
Phil gonna have you out there reading books, meditating, talk about that. But when it's time to play, who more of a hippie than Phil Jackson? Who? But
Not
there's
when
gonna be some structure.
it came to winning, dog. When it came to winning, he was a gangster.
We're gonna have a triangle. We're gonna have some continuity, right? We're gonna have a way to do it. And this is stuff we see. Like, Hammer and I are in higher education. We see some of this stuff. If you listen to KRS One's new song, knock 'em out. He say some stuff about this generational stuff. KRS is on it. It's like these cats want all this stuff without the smoke. That's why I appreciate Memphis. That's why I love when we watch it with Minnesota. It's crazy, but these young cats going back. They want all the smoke. They want all the responsibility and all the smoke. These cats, I don't know what they are, but it ain't the kind of stuff that win chips. That's the part I do know. And unless one of them cats in that scenario steps up in it from either Marks, can you be like a West? Or it's got to be, Nash. Can you be that way, but can you find your inner Phil Jackson? Or it's got to be KD. Can you be like when Magic had to go away for that summer and listen to everybody talk about him, and he came back different. He just came back different, right? Somebody in that scenario got to be different next year.
In my opinion, I think it has to be one of the players. It got to be either Kyrie or KD.
You know it ain't gonna be Kyrie, so don't even ask Kyrie.
Yeah.
It gotta
Don't
be.
Kyrie
put
should
your
opt
whole
out.
name in it.
Hey, Kyrie might have an epiphany. He might have one of those things. It might come to him in a
Come on,
dream.
man.
Man, man, he been in the league. He been in the league for 11
It
years,
ain't even
12
fair to
years.
Kyrie.
He ain't
I'm
changing.
gonna stop being
He ain't
unfair to
changing,
Kyrie.
man. Nah,
Kyrie's
he
told us who he is. I believe in him. I believe in Kyrie. Kyrie, I
That's
believe
all
in.
like I said with the vaccination.
But
When
it
he
has to
refused
be.
to
It
get
has
the
to be
vaccination,
because if
I
you're
was
Steve
like,
Nash.
man.
But my thing is, if you're Steve Nash, part of it is yes, it's your job. You're the coach. You got to lead, but is he empowered to do so? Like if he, because you have to have that thing in the back of your mind. If I do push back on KD, if I do push back on Kyrie, am I going to be out the door?
But what does it matter? He's a Hall of Famer. Steve Nash is gonna get love anyway. That's the one thing. That to me is not a calculus for him. Steve got so much capital. If he did it, people would think he did it for a reason. Like he got so much capital, he could do it. You know the person's got to
people lost
be.
respect for him this series. So let's be real.
Yeah,
People have lost
the
a lot
person
of
who's got
respect
to
for
be
him
is
this series.
KD. You know why? Because KD the only one who's been real the whole time. Like other than not leading, KD from what he's supposed to do, show up, play hard, do all of it. KD's done it. KD
Not
should
in
be the
game
most
2 and
pissed
3.
off.
What are you talking about? Not in game 2 and 3. Come on,
But
man.
he that I'm not gonna have an excuse because they all loaded up on him. But if you look at when everybody's hurt, who's showing up? Who has been there for day one consistently, other than when he's been injured? Came out of an Achilles injury and showed up. He been with the Olympics team and showed up. KD don't showed up for everything. He got to be pissed enough. Like I'm showing up coming out of an Achilles injury, and y'all can't come and bring it. Like he should be the one who's most pissed. Coming off an Achilles, played a full season, and then played in the Olympics and came back. And this is what y'all give me? Like, he should be on the off season. He got to go Baltimore. Well, he from DC, right? He got to go DC on
He's
this
from
one.
Baltimore.
He got to go
DC,
DC on this one. He got to go
He
back.
ain't
He
going
should watch
DC,
a whole.
man.
He should watch he should watch every season of The Wire.
No,
He should watch every season of The Wire every day.
He's Austin. He's Oklahoma City. He ain't DC, bro.
Yeah, he's from PG.
He's DC. He's Chevy. He's Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's what he is.
Ollie. All right, let's flip it over. Let's flip it over to the Celtics and to the new dog. What I called him in the chat, Marlo Stansfield. He came and said, he looked at him and said, I want my corners.
Oh yeah, I gotta talk about this one because I said this before the series even started. This is the series that Jason Tatum was gonna look to take his place. I said he was gonna look to take his place and show that he is on the same level as Kevin Durant, and that's exactly what he did. He came out there. He said, "I'm gonna guard you. I'm gonna guard you as long as I'm not in foul trouble. I'm gonna guard you, and I'm gonna go back at you on the other end." And Jason Tatum, he proved like I said it last year. After the season, I was saying Jason Tatum's next step. He has to, his next step is on the playmaking side of things. You got to, start to see where the openings are and be more willing passer. And he's made that step. So I think
I've been saying it for a long time. Everybody looking at me like I was crazy. I'm watching
Jason
this kid.
Tatum, he's putting himself at that. If he's not at the top,
I mean, but y'all giving too much credit. This is a Celtic team we've seen for 40 games. All right, where was the Celtic team in the beginning of the season? That's why I said they got to show me more.
That's how those moments happen, man. That's how the moments happen.
They got to show more in one series.
That's how the moments happen.
For me. They got to show more one series for me against Brooklyn.
That's how the moments happen.
Are you talking about the Celtics or are you talking about
I'm talking about the Celtics. They were raggedy in the first part of the season.
Because what I will say about Jason Tatum is they were raggedy, but he was still dropping. He was still.
Is that Celtic team going to come back? That's what I'm saying. Is that suspect Celtic team?
But that's how the moments happen. It was like when the Bulls finally understood what Phil was talking about, but they did a little bit faster. They had to understand. We're gonna talk about him. They had to understand what the coach was talking about once they figured it out. Because he is Marlo, but Brown
might be Marlo. I want to see him in some more battles. I want to see some more battles. One battle don't make Marlo Stansfield.
Brown is Chris.
Several battles.
And smart is Snoop because he put Kyrie in the vacants. He put Kyrie in the vacants. He put Kyrie in the vacants. You know what? When they walking that one cat, what's your boy's name? The big fella. He was trying to talk, and he knew he was going to the Lakers to die. Kyrie was all he could do was smile because he knew he was going to die. Smart put him in the lockup.
Yeah.
Them cats said we want our corners, and we got to get them credit. At some point, the light comes on.
But I still, like I said,
and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna say this because I want to get Darnell, I want to get your opinion. I want to say this. I would say this, that their growth got delayed because of the move when they brought Kyrie in. Their growth got delayed. They had to reset. They got the coach back in. Their growth got delayed because if you remember, before that run when they had the injuries with Thomas, and them young cats was going, and then they thought they was going to be the guys. And then the management got a little creative and said, we're going to go get Kyrie. Disrupted their growth. Remember, they came back, them cats, and they've been rebuilding. Now they hit stride again.
I disagree, man.
I do.
I disagree too.
I disagree with you.
I saw. They were talking about. We were talking about NBA Doka getting fired about 2 months ago.
No,
but I was the one saying they should trade him. I was one of them saying they should trade him.
And all of a sudden, now you're gonna say that no.
But I was saying get fired. I was saying let them figure it out.
I'm still going with the Heat. I'm still going with the Heat.
All right, so we're arguing 2 different points here.
Yeah.
So now with what Devon was saying about the Kyrie point, Kyrie on the Celtics, I disagree because his first year they made it to the conference finals. They pushed LeBron to a 7-game. I know Kyrie was.
But I still say that was glad. That was more Kyrie's emotion.
Wait. Let me finish this point though. But during the regular season, when Kyrie was healthy, they went on a 17-game winning streak, and their team was together. It was connected. And they were still building on, building the building blocks for the team that they are today. And what I was going to say. To Carl's point about the team this year,
but hold it. You hit the story. No, because it started to be tension. The cats their roles were shifting.
It really, but
especially like Brown. Brown's growth got stumped the most.
It was Gordon Hayward. If we're gonna.
But I understand the Gordon Hayward piece. I understand the Gordon Hayward piece.
Yeah,
if we're gonna go, let's go there because we're talking about.
But those were all the moves.
Yes,
but those were still moves they didn't make. They didn't need to make
their minutes. Not Kyrie.
But I said they didn't even make that. Even the Gordon Hayward move, I thought wasn't a good one with that team. It stunted their growth. It still stunted their growth.
That was Brad's guy.
Yes, it did. Because it took minutes away from all those cats.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Yes, it did. What kind of minutes were they playing?
He would still play with Jason Tatum, and he would still play with Jaylen Brown. It didn't.
But they weren't getting the shots they were getting.
Kyrie is not taking none of their minutes away.
They were not getting the shots. You said Gordon Hayward was taking nobody's minutes?
Kyrie was taking less shots with the Celtics than he was when he was on the Cavs.
But I'm saying, you had Gordon Hayward and Kyrie. You mean to tell me Brown, Smart, and all them guys, Rosen, plus what's my boys down? He went down to Charlotte. What about my guy who went to Charlotte too? Right? Like all those cats was playing major minutes.
Oh, Rozier, yeah.
Rozier. All that stuff shifted.
But that was two years ago, D. Will. They ain't no excuse.
Yeah, all it took time to rebuild.
No, I didn't know excuse what happened this year.
That's not a mistake, though. I would take Kyrie over Terry Rozier any day of the week, any year.
We all would.
Yeah, but Kyrie went. But you. The piece you missing is not the basketball skills; it's the mentality and all the other stuff. Right.
All right, but I still do want to get on what Carl's point was about Ime Udoka in the beginning of this season. I think a part of that process, I know he talked about with Kyrie, but I think it's the same idea. There was still some pruning to do with that roster. You got to cut some things away. You had to have a little addition by subtraction. Just the way he was talking about with Kyrie, I think Dennis Schroeder was getting in the way of the defensive identity of the team and the way that they really wanted to do things, and taking him away and just inserting Marcus Smart at point guard really reinforced the mentality that Ime Udoka really wanted to go with. And sometimes there is addition by subtraction, and also adding Derek White to the bench really added to the depth and the amount of guys you can play. And you also Grant Williams' evolution as a shooter helped out as well. shout out to, I know I talk about Drew Hanlon all the time, the trainer, but shout out to Lethal Shooter as well. Lethal Shooter he's a shooting coach, and he's been working with Grant Williams, and shout out to him because he's been knocking those corner threes down. But now they legit have a good 8 or 9 guy that they can comfortably play,
Yeah.
and I think that's a difference between the team you see today and the team you saw in November.
Yeah, I want to see consistency. I want to see one series don't make it.
But I think it's a different team, though. I think it's a different team.
It is a different team. I'm not going to deny it's a different team, but I'm saying though, we got people gonna look at that tape from the beginning of the season and see how they didn't click. Now, obviously, there was different personnel there. You're right. White wasn't on there. I think Thies wasn't on there. They changed up the lineup. There's a lot of things they brought into the system. Yeah, but again, a good coaching staff is going to look at that beginning of the season, look at where are some of the flaws, what we can get them back into some of the habits they had.
But the stuff you talk about travels. The way they play defense travels. The way they get
they wasn't traveling in the beginning of the season.
That stuff travels.
They were giving up points.
That ain't changing with some.
They were Matador in the beginning of the season. They were Matador in the beginning of the season.
But that's what
I'm saying. All the stuff they do right now travels. That stuff travels.
It's traveling. I don't say
you
travel.
You got to beat them.
It's traveling. It's traveling.
You got to beat them.
It's traveling.
I know you're trying to hold on to your Bucks, man.
Achilles heel.
I know you're trying to hold on to your Bucks. I know you're trying to hold on to them.
I ain't trying to hold on to the Bulls. All that. I just think the Bucks.
If this were your Bulls, you'd be on the other side singing all kinds of praises. If this were the Bulls,
I can't praise getting whooped like that. We getting whooped in our own crib like we stole something, man. So I can't praise it. You know me. I can't praise. I'm hard on my own teams. You know that. Hard.
So are you sick? Is Udoka a rising star? And we asked that question.
Yes, he's a rising star. The question is, I am concerned about what happened in the beginning of the season. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
I am concerned.
Because
concerned.
You know what he was bringing to the table? He bringing to the table that structure and discipline, and he brought that.
I agree. He didn't bring that. He didn't bring the beginning of the season.
Because
let me chime in on this, because when you're talking about the biggest key to this team is defense on the defense end of the floor. And when you're talking about the defense end of the floor, there's the two biggest things, the two biggest pillars to defense and basketball is, one, the point of attack, and two, the rim protection. And when you move Dennis Schroeder away, you allow Marcus Smart to be that guy at the point of attack. He's the point guard. He's cutting everything off at the head. And then when you empower Robert Williams to be, you're the guy now. You know what I'm saying? You're getting the majority of the minutes there at the 5, and now he's the guy protecting the rim. I think that's a different scenario than you had at the beginning of the season. Now,
but they're even playing well without Robert Williams in the season, though. I mean, so it's not even. Robert Williams brought a different culture, but I'm still saying that I am concerned about that Celtic team. You cannot tell me again, if the Celtic team played like they did in the second half of the season, they would have been the number 1 seed in the East by far. They weren't.
Yeah, but like all teams find their way, the light comes on.
Yeah.
And the light can come off too. Lights can go off.
But usually you can tell when it's sound. Like this ain't the kind of stuff. This ain't that really trick and it's built on flim. This stuff you can see is built on good foundation.
But again, we talk about this. It wasn't like they blew Brooklyn out the stadium. Now let's.
Yeah, but you're not gonna really blow Brooklyn out.
Let me finish. It was what? It was 20 points as far as over 5 games. There ain't no blowout. It was close. It was a well.
They still Kyrie and KD. Like they still Kyrie. Like the key is you swept them. And that's hard to do in NBA.
I agree, it's hard to do.
So I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you do it 1 point.
They ain't doing what the Bucks doing to the Bulls right now.
Yeah, but who the Bulls compared to? Who the Bulls compared to the Nets in terms of firepower? Even with them two. Come on, man. Come on.
But also you gotta look at the strategy. Also, you got to look at the strategy, though. What the Celtics were doing was they were pretty much just saying, "Hey, Bruce Brown, Nick Claxton, you guys got to beat us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yes.
And I'm a bet that you guys are going to beat us. But at the end of the day, you're giving them high percentage shots. So the game is going to end up being a 10-point, 8-point kind of game.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a 30-point game because at the end of the day, they're professional basketball players. They're
Yeah.
going to make a certain amount of those 10-foot shots.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
But hey, the Celtics are making their run. You know, and I like the way you say the cup ahead because that's my boy Alvarado, whatever he's at. I told you that cat from Georgia Tech, boy. He doing that to Chris Paul, boy. It's abusive. Sorry, Chris, but he giving you a younger Chris. He just giving you that. He give you that. I remember we had I said the cat to look for. I said that kid, Jose, ain't no joke. He out there. He said I'm from Brooklyn. I got that can't go back. Even the press conference, he's like, I respect him, but I'm gonna be up in that chest. I love that, but that's part of the league. You're gonna see that. And Smart does that better than anybody out there. He gonna make whoever he got, they're in the witness protection program. Everybody else got to figure out all that stuff they got to do out, and you can see you see some other cats doing that in other series. All right, what do we got right now? One thing I think you were going to ask a question to you about I think we kind of went around this, but so the Celtics are the team to beat. Sounds like from Hammer's point, he ain't buying it now. And so
I
think
with Middleton being out, that's the X factor. Middleton being out, that's gonna be a problem. I mean, they can beat the Bulls out without Middleton.
Yeah.
Middleton being out against the Celtics, that's a serious problem.
Yeah.
So that's a serious problem. But the Heat, if Butler can come back, and then Oladipo, where he was balling tonight, that's something special. That's gonna be interesting. If he can turn into a rotation player, it's gonna be interesting. So I still like the Heat. I ain't gonna lie. I still like
my thing about the Heat is, with Kyle Lowry out, it's the same idea. I'm gonna come back to it. Like I said with Boston, with Kyle Lowry out, and you put Oladipo at the 1, you open up a whole different door defensively, where now all 5 players can switch. You know what I'm saying? They all. I have this one possession that I have screen recorded. It was absolutely ridiculous. It wasn't from this game. It was from the last game where Oladipo was playing at point guard, and they just were able to switch all the way across. There was no advantages, and they forced the Hawks into a contested jumper, and it was just like some ridiculous defense. And I think that. Sometimes you fall into stuff, and that's a lineup that could be particularly dangerous down the stretch of the playoffs. Something to look out for.
But you asked this question. So do you think the Celtics are young out of team to beat or what? In the East?
I think that's in just the
in the East.
It's just the East. Oh man. That's a tough one because I don't think there is a team. I don't think there's a specific team to beat because, if Middleton, I don't know how long Middleton's out, but if Middleton can come back, I'd say the Heat, the Celtics, and the Bucks are all at the same level.
But the Celtics are the only one that with
Jimmy
no question.
Buckets. I think
Celtics have
Jimmy coming back. Jimmy
got a lot of
rest
ifs over there.
tonight. Jimmy able to rest tonight. I think.
No, Jimmy. I thought Jimmy. He just has knee soreness. He'll.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think he's the big. Besides Giannis, he's one of the biggest dogs out there. So
yeah.
And they got more.
I'm not making him a bigger dog than Tatum.
But he's not.
He's not a bigger dog than Tatum.
Tatum ain't fouling out like Tatum fouled out.
But that don't matter. Tatum
fouled
was
out.
50 on him.
Tatum was watching the sideline.
Tatum at the point he right now, he going for 50 on him.
Hey, but at the end of the day, we can all agree that the biggest dog is Giannis.
Oh yeah, he's the biggest dog, but Jimmy's right there. And they got some nice depth on the bench.
I mean, Jimmy playing well, but it go Giannis.
Defense has been stifling. They shut Trae Young down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they can switch on Trae. They put him in the body bag.
Yeah,
like
there's
some goons down there.
Celtics Bucks matchup because you got Giannis and Tatum. Well, really Drew and Tatum. That's the thing. I want to see what that would look like if with Drew picking him up. What kind of can he give him a little bit of problems, or is he just gonna be too big for him? They got to put somebody else on him. But yeah, that's gonna be a great matchup. What is Giannis' answer going to be to that defense? I mean, this is a series that every game is going to be a must watch.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. I like Giannis, so I ain't gonna push back on it. Other series, we got a lot of other stories going on in the. What are some other storylines y'all looking at in the playoffs? Hammer, what are some other storylines that you've been watching?
Minnesota, man.
They should be up 3-1.
Yeah, they should be, but they ain't. But they won. Let's see, they won. They won. Well, yeah, they up. Yeah, I mean, again, that's been a great series. John Morant, the most improved player. That's a joke. Then you got the Suns, Pelicans. Interesting series because Booker's out for a while. So, you got Utah. Look like they gonna. Denver. Dallas look like they gonna do their thing and they gonna start. What I told you was what happened to Utah. They're gonna blow it up in Utah. So yeah, I like what's happening right now. This is some really good basketball. I mean, this is. I'm usually not a playoffs fan towards the end, but I've really gotten into the playoffs, probably because of Bulls, I ain't gonna lie, but also been watching some more basketball and really enjoying it. So, yes.
Yeah, Ant-Man is, watching him as a young college player in Maui and seeing how under control in the way he's playing, now and getting after it. Boy, my man, that's a grown man. That's a grown. They can't do nothing with him. Little game while I was watching, but they just and when Karl Anthony Towns has presence, he makes it difficult when he's focused and consistent. Still don't like him flailing all the time and taking unnecessary offensive fouls. Sometimes I just can't understand it. I'm like, man, what's going on with you? But yeah, when they get at it, and Patrick Beverly, I mean, he had a chase down block, and then just looked like the gremlin. Just all right, we're back. We're gonna hit the cipher now. We're into the NFL draft preview. This is where the youngin gives us the big board, and Hammer loses his mind. So we know that's gonna happen. I'm just gonna say that before it happens. So then y'all already know what's gonna happen. But I love the youngin when he gets the big board. He gets into his mix. He kind of lays it out. So we're gonna kind of turn it over. I almost feel like I might take myself out the shot. I might have to put y'all side by side and just hear my voice, people, while he does the big board. Because it's important for y'all to see Hammer's reaction. Y'all just hear my voice in the background. This is how we're going to do this. Because this might have to be its own segment. And so this is it. This is the meat. We've been talking all year. He's been looking. He's been searching. Young has been probably watching pro days online. He's been getting all the information, and he came up with his big board that he's going to share. He's going to give us an opening. He's going to run through it. Now, Hammer. Nah, I can't say that. I was gonna say let him get through the board.
No,
but
say what?
I was gonna say let him get through the board, but I'm not gonna let.
I'm gonna let him get through the board. Like I said before, let him get through the board.
You gonna catch. You gonna
hear something crazy, but
you gonna catch what I call the sports holy ghost.
I heard some previews that were crazy, but go ahead.
So. You might. I think you might catch.
But like
the
I
sports
said,
holy
who's
ghost.
switching?
Gonna jump in and say something.
2 years old. 3 years old. 2 years. Yeah, 3 years old now. Who's switching positions? I hear somebody in New York's gonna be switching positions soon.
Oh man,
he can't cut it.
Oh man, that's my voice in the background, y'all.
He's going to guard
in the background,
right tackle. He can't cut it. So, but
no, he's not going to go. He's going. They're probably going to
right
draft
tackle.
In the event that they get, one of the guys I'm going to talk about.
He ain't better than Tristan Wirfs. Enough said.
All right. We turn it over to you, youngin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Give us the big board.
I want to bring Lee Allen. That's what I want to do. He and Lee Allen would be interesting. My guy from Chicago.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The football coach. Oh, you're D. Wills. You talking about Lee Allen?
Oh, I know. That's
he and Lee Allen would be made for TV.
We're gonna bring him on. Because when I first talked to him when he was up at UW, we were talking about his book. I said we gotta get him on. I figure out how much he loves sports. So yeah, he want
to talk draft, man. Because every time he be texting me about what the Bears gonna do, and he knows the whole board, so this is gonna be interesting. But go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get the young and do it. Go do your thing,
Yeah, go
man.
ahead,
You
man.
got it.
All
Don't
right,
look
man.
nervous,
So
man. Be confident,
before,
man.
no, I'm confident. I just got to
I
explain
know
some
you
things
are. Yeah,
beforehand.
cocky is
Like I say last year, like I say every year, this isn't the consensus board. This is my board. This is
yeah.
um. So first of all, this year is a year where you might not have the super flashy top 10, but when you get to that the middle of this draft, the middle of this draft is heavy. The middle of this draft is deep. You're going to get a lot of value in there. There's a lot of guys that can really that I believe can really step in and play for you. And the difference between 20 and like 35 to 40 is not that big. So like there's some guys that are not going to make my list that I wish I could put on my list. I just don't know who I'm going to take off. But just starting it off, number one, Mr. Ike Ekwonu, Ikem Ekwonu. This guy, I believe he has probably the highest upside in this draft. I mean, this guy, he explodes people. You watch this guy on film. This guy, when he puts his hands on you, it is over. And this is a guy. This guy is right up Carl's alley. Um, he loves like the physical, the physical freaks. And this dude, I know Carl's making some faces, but I bet if we put on some Ike Ekwonu tape, he'll love it. And he might be a little raw, a little rough around the edges, but give him a couple years in the league, and he has the potential to be right at the top of the list of the tackles in the league. You can put him up there with Trent Williams, Tyron Smith, maybe in a couple of years. But yeah, that's my number one. Number two, Aiden Hutchinson. This dude has the combination. I struggle a little bit between him and Kayvon. I did have.
Trayvon? You mean Trayvon, right? You mean Trayvon?
No, Kayvon Thibodeau. I struggle
not
between.
Trayvon.
I struggle between Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau for a little bit because I was one of the first guys to say I have Aiden above Kayvon, and I know you guys got on me when I said it in the text chain earlier in October, November area, saying I think Aiden's a little more consistent, but Aiden, he's polished with his hands. He's strong in the run game. He might not have the first step explosion that Kayvon has, but Aiden, I don't think you can go wrong with Aiden. Like I see he's going to be right around that, at least like that Max Crosby level guy that can really produce for you, especially in the pass game. Number three, Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton's not going to go number three, but Kyle Hamilton is a guy that has range. He can play. Man, he can cover your he can cover your Kyle Pitts'. He can cover your
4.7.
Travis Kelce. He ran a 4.57 his
in pro day.
But yeah, he didn't look 4.7 on tape. If you watch Kyle Hamilton on tape,
I agree he's not 4.7 on tape.
Oh, he didn't look 4.7. Even at the combine, it was a 4.6. It was a high 4.6. His I think his unofficial was a high 4.6. But that part aside, he can guard your Kittles or Kelce's. You know what I'm saying? He can do that. He can step up in the run game. You know what I'm saying? He's a very good zone defender. He's very versatile, and he's that modern safety type that everybody's looking for. Number four, Evan Neal. I mean, Evan Neal is a guy that when you talk about the top tackles in this class, you have Ikem Ekwonu, which is the power guy. He's going to move everybody, can destroy everything in his path. You have Charles Cross guy, that is technique guy, smooth. Like he's if you talk about cars, you know what I'm saying? Ikem might be the sports car that can go 150 miles, you know what I'm saying? Might be able to go 200 miles an hour. But and Charles Cross might be the car that has smooth handling. It gives you that he might get you 50 miles to the gallon. You know what I'm saying? He's efficient. He's smooth. But Evan Neal, he's the best of both worlds. And he's strong. He's strong as all get out. He's been coached by some high level guys at Alabama. He's worked with Duke Manyweather, and he's worked on his technique, and he has some good tape out there against your Trayvon Walkers of the world. He has some good tape of the other guys in the SEC. So he might be the safest prospect of the offensive tackles.
So why are teams talking about moving to right tackle then?
Because he's played right tackle. He has that versatility. He's played guard. He's played right tackle.
So it's not the fact that it's not technique problem, because I've heard he has some technique problems too.
No. Oh, well, what technique problems are you talking about?
There's a reason why. Again, there's a reason why it's tackle.
Hey man,
why else would you move to right tackle? If he's your best tackle, you're gonna put him in left tackle, right?
One of my big sayings is, don't give me a problem without giving me a solution. No, if he has technique problems, what technique problem does he have? Is his hands too high? Does he not protect his numbers? Does he set too deep? What does he do wrong?
I was stunned to read something they said. I was stunned reading some of the things talking about teams they put him in the left tackle spot. I mean, I know he played right tackle in college, but so what?
He played guard. In college too. When Leather,
I know he played guard as well. Yeah, and some people think he might play guard in the NFL too as well. So what's happening with? Why team shy with left tackle? That's what I'm saying.
If I'm the Lions, I'll give it a hard look at putting him next to Penei Sewell at guard. I mean, now they will.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But go ahead. Digressing to my next guy, number 5. No, I can't let him fall too much farther than this. Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, I took a second look at this dude, and man, like, dog, this dude is a physical freak. I mean, this dude, he has one of the best first steps I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Like this dude,
why he's better than Aiden Hutchinson. My boy, it'd be Walker, it'd be Thibodeau.
Sometimes you watch Kayvon Thibodeau, he's like, bro, this is not even fair. Like he's making his move.
Why is he firing your board?
His move before the offensive tackle even get up.
And why is he firing your board then?
Because he's not
love your Michigan guy.
He doesn't have I don't think he has the same. He doesn't have the same polish that Aiden Hutchinson has, and I believe Aiden Hutchinson has a higher floor. Because what happens if when Kayvon plays against the higher competition level that you're going to see in the NFL? If he plays against a Trent Williams, he plays against a David Bakhtiari, he plays against Teron Armstead, those type of guys that see physical freak. They see Myles Garrett all the time. They see Aaron Donald all the time. You know what I'm saying? That might his top end stuff might not necessarily phase them the same way that it would the offensive tackle from.
Why? Because he's smaller? Is that because he's small? He's not big as Myles Garrett. He's not. I mean, what's? I mean,
no, I'm not saying there's a problem at all. I'm just saying when the playing field is leveled out a little more, some of the details matter a little more. You know what I'm saying? The hand placement matters a little more. The moves, you know what I'm saying? Do you have a counter to this move? What do you do?
You saying he's uncoachable? You say he's uncoachable then? That's what you say.
I'm not saying he's uncoachable. I'm just saying.
Well, if you put the hand technique, you coach him up.
What I'm saying is right now, I have more faith in Aiden Hutchinson for right now to be. I would take him at this juncture over Kayvon Thibodeau, and we're splitting hairs at this point. I struggle with these two. So number 6, this one's going to shock you. It's not going to shock you because you've heard me talk about him before. But
Sauce?
No, number 6, he's coming up. Sauce is coming up. But number 6 is Jordan Davis. Number 6 is Jordan Davis. If you talk about if you throw position importance, position, what do they call it? Positional value.
Positional need,
and we're just talking about straight up big board, who is the best player available. Jordan Davis does his job better than anybody else does his job. If you don't want if his job is to protect the A gap, nobody is coming to my A gap, and that's why I have.
But Jordan again, you talking about college. You ain't talking about. No. This is why we had. This is why we had the argument with Jordan Davis. You told me the same thing about Andrew Thomas about he's pro ready and Tristan Wirfs is a little bit rough at the edges. The dude need to lose. If he lost 20 pounds, and I'd be like, he's number 6. But he's 340 right now. And probably a little bit bigger now.
Yeah, but running 4.7?
Run a 4.78.
Yeah, and
Come on,
320,
man.
4.6.
You losing. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
4.6. He need to be
Yes,
320,
at
bro.
3. But
He need to
what are
be
you talking
320.
about?
He need to be.
To be
You
that
know he
big,
need to
run
be
a
What are we
320.
talking
4.7.
about? We're talking about a nose tackle
I
need to
got
run a
mad.
4.6.
Come on,
I
What
want him
man.
at
nose
320.
tackle need to run a 4.6?
At 320, I want him at 320, man.
Come
I
on,
don't think at
man.
340 you ain't gonna be able to do what you gonna do. No,
What
not
hasn't he
Now
demonstrated he
we're
can
really
do?
pushing
He's
it.
doing everything.
I guess college kids, yeah.
Wait
No,
a
that
minute.
usually
Wait a minute.
translates.
Back
You
up.
see a guy like
Wait a
that do
minute.
that.
Let's
That's
back
gonna
up.
happen at the league level.
Let's back up. We're talking to the same person that 2 months ago was saying that Jordan Davis was without a doubt head and shoulders way better than Vince Wilfork. and now we're saying
Yeah,
that
I saw it.
Jordan Davis, he did it again, but he
Again,
can't
but
do
see,
it in
but
the
see,
NFL.
the thing, but see, the thing with man,
Vince
I'll put it this
Wilfork,
way, Darnell. But see,
he's
I can talk junk, but then I can see the tape. And I did. I went to the YouTube. I
I was
retract that. I
I
saw some
was
of that tape.
I
That's
was
crazy.
dumbfounded when you said. I was like,
So
"What?"
yeah,
I was
it's
like,
been a long while since I saw the
"You
tape.
know
Let
who
me put it
Vince
this way.
Wilfork is?"
See, you younger. No, I can't argue anymore. I saw that tape and I was like, oh my goodness. Like I have to retract that. So I'll tell the audience right now, I retract that totally because I was in the moment because I saw some of that tape on Vince Wilfork and I was like, what? I was looking like, you're right. I mean, it was crazy what he was doing.
I was about to say Vince Wilfork had better numbers as a true freshman than Jordan Davis.
I saw. I learned from you about going to some reels, and I just had to see. I just see it to believe it because it's been a long time. And I saw some of that tape. I was like, man, my man. I need to do a tape session with Darnell because he was right about that. So I'll retract that.
All right, we got to get through 25 of these.
Yeah,
go ahead.
we got time.
My
So
tape is running low.
So number 7.
Yep.
Number 7, your guy, my guy. It's hard for me to be controversial in these things because I say some things that might look like they're out of line, and then everybody ends up coming back to me. I said back in October that Sauce Gardner was my cornerback number 1, and now Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, all them they come around to me. Now they come around to me saying Sauce Gardner is their CB1, and I'm sticking with it. The guy from Detroit, Martin Luther King High School, Ahmad Gardner, shades of Richard Sherman. He's a top. He's a 6'3", long arm corner with a high IQ. People just don't throw his way. I mean, the corner.
Yeah, but wouldn't he be higher on your board though? Consider his impact. I mean, consider how wouldn't he be higher than tackles? I mean, that's a special player. Sauce Gardner.
No, I don't know because I don't know.
He'd be higher on my board. I think he brings more value, especially the quarterback position is one of the key positions. You got quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback, left tackle. So I mean, you need that. I mean, this guy is a physical freak in high level competition. Like I said, I like him. I got him way up higher. But go ahead. But
and another thing about Sauce is people didn't throw him at all. The cornerback across from him won the Jim Thorpe Award because he was getting all the targets, so he was getting all the stats.
Hey, who's that brother's name again? I forgot his name.
Kobe Bryant. He's going Kobe Bryant after.
Kobe. Yeah. Where he going, second round? Or I would see him.
Man, when I do my mock, because one thing about me, I've been doing these Lions, and some other teams 7-round mocks. So every mock draft I see at Kobe Bryant, he's always 4th round, fifth round. Like I'm like, dang, he's going that far now.
That'll be a steal though. Somebody.
Steal. Yeah. My number 8 is Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean, he's not going this high because he's undersized. All the stuff you hear every year, but man, you turn his tape on, he is everywhere. He's a guy that you need on your team, especially if you're drafting this high. Your team is not good, and you need a culture setter, and you need somebody like Nakobe Dean that's gonna point. This dude his processor runs high. This guy is he's a mechanical engineer graduate. You know what I'm saying? He has a degree in mechanical engineering. His brain moves at a different speed than everybody else, and you can just see it on tape. He sees stuff before it happens. He reminds me of a young London Fletcher, and man, he's my guy number 8. Number 9 is another guy I struggle with because my number 9 makes me contradict myself, and I hate it because I love to be consistent. um, my number 9 guy is Jermaine Johnson, and I know I'm gonna contradict myself because I remember I said months ago, um, we saw Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Jameson Williams play together, and we saw how that hierarchy played out. So you know what I'm saying. So how does that look when when we go to rank our receivers, and Jameson's above all them? But I'm gonna do the exact opposite. I know Jermaine Johnson was at Georgia with Trayvon Walker and all them. And I know he was on the bench and now he's at Florida State killing things. But hey man, when I watch Jermaine Johnson on film, he plays the run extremely well. He has more other than Aiden Hutchinson, Jermaine Johnson has the best pass rushing moves in this draft. I mean, I'm I struggle with Jermaine Johnson because sometimes I want to put him at 2. Not 2 overall, but 2 at edge 2.
Yeah, 2
Yeah,
edge rush.
sometimes I want to put him at edge 2 because he has the polish. He's more. I think he's more polished than Kayvon. He's not as explosive as Kayvon, but he's still big and athletic, and he plays the run physically. He pretty much has everything you want out of the edge, and he's my number 9. My number 10 is a guy that we've only seen it for 1 year, so it's tough for me to put him here. But dang, if you look back at his first year, you would have thought this dude was the second coming of Champ Bailey or something. Like Derek Stingley Jr. had one of the best freshman years I've ever seen out of a corner. But injuries has been nagging him, and maybe if he was on a better team, maybe I don't want to do this because you never want to question a guy's heart and stuff unless you really know. But yeah, maybe if he was on a contending team, maybe he plays more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he got.
I saw an interview with him. He admitted he was injured, and now again he's shooting up boards again. People see that tape, freshman tape. And I think he's going to project well. So
he's one of the better. Well, yeah, Derek Stingley's talent is pretty much unquestionable. The question about him is his health, like I said, and you got to see, you got to trust your doctors and see if we really want to take that risk. But hey, my number 11 guy is Tyler Linderbaum. Yeah, man. Well, my 11 and 12 are pretty much the same type of player. They play different positions. These guys are completely technical marvels. But at this point, I'm talking about, not at this point, but my overall vision of this. My big board is who are the best players, and positional value. You're not picking the center in the top 10, top 11. I mean, but at the end of the day, if for what you ask a center to do, they call the center the pivot man, right? Because his job is to get that nose or that 1 set reach, you know what I'm saying? Pivot him, you know what I'm saying? Set the angles right, and he does that on a consistent basis better than almost anybody that you can name, all the way back to Jason Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? He's on that same level with Jeff Saturday, Jason Kelsey, the Pouncey brothers. He can reach anybody. He's probably one of the best zone play up interior offensive linemen we've seen. But at the end of the day, his weakness, his flaws, he's not a mover. Like I said about Ike Ekwonu's guy. He touches you and you're out of there, and that's not necessarily a deal with Linderbaum. He's not necessarily a guy who's gonna blow you off the ball, but for what is needed in a lot of systems, really a lot of systems in the NFL today, a lot of teams want to run wide zone. You know what I'm saying? I attended the Cool Clinic last year, coaches of offensive line. So what Cool Clinic stands for. It was started by Jim McNally, longtime NFL offensive line coach. I sat up there and listened to a whole bunch of offensive line clinics from offensive line coaches that are both in the college and in the NFL. They're always talking about inside zone, outside zone, wide zone, mid zone. You know what I'm saying? All these different ways to block zone. So in that concept, Linderbaum is high up on my board. Number 12, Charles Cross. Charles Cross, another tackle that is very similar to he's a lot like Linderbaum at a different position. At tackle, he's the guy. He played in the air raid system. He played for Mike Leach. Mike Leach is known for he was a part of the coaching staff that invented the air raid system, right? So so that being said, they throw the ball 50, 60 times a game, So there's not a whole bunch of reps of seeing him run block, but he's been working with, like I said, Duke Manuel. He's working with a lot of these guys. He's very good with technique. But yeah, Charles Cross is one of the best, smoothest pass blockers you will see. He has great technique. He has good film against he's played against oh my God, Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Will Anderson. I was trying. I was trying to figure out what his name escaped me for.
Is he your first pick next year or not?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I thought.
You got the quarterback. You see.
Well, yeah, you got the quarterback. So I mean, you think Stroud will go higher? Stroud will be the first pick or not?
It depends on how this year goes. We never know. We'll never know. But yeah, Charles Cross.
Who would you take right now? Though? I mean, if you talk about, would you take Stroud over Young or
I'll take Bryce. I'll take Bryce.
You take Bryce
right now. But yeah, I'll take Bryce. I'll take Bryce Young over. Oh, the hype.
He wasn't saying nothing, man. He just listening. That's all I like.
I'm just listening, but we on the clock. I want to see what he got. I want to get his 25.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Number 12, I already said Charles Cross. Number 13, Devontae Wyatt. Oh my God, Devontae! I seen him at the Senior Bowl, and this dude has a legitimate claim to being, if not as good. So a lot of people say he's better than Jordan Davis because they say he's more versatile than Jordan Davis because of his pass rushing repertoire. And this is an interior lineman that can play anywhere from nose to one technique to he could play a 4-eye. Some people can play him like a head up forward, you know what I'm saying? But man, Devontae Wyatt, he has scheme versatility. He can rush the passer. He's also an athletic freak. He is he's up there with the best interior defensive lineman in this class. He's at my number 13. And number 14, Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker is a athletic freak, athletic specimen. He plays the game with a intensity and a fire that's needed on that defensive end or defensive football in general. And I love watching this guy play, but at the end of the day, he is super raw in the pass. Like, if talking about pass rush, I know pass rush is the whole game, you know what I'm saying? Especially being a guy's coach, defensive line myself, we always say you got to earn your right to rush. So I'm kind of contradicting myself because Coach Darnell would take Trayvon Walker any day of the week because we always say you got to earn the right to rush the passer. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really fight on first and second down so you can pin your ears back and rush the passer. So I'm contradicting myself, but at the end of the day, in the NFL, to play edge, you gotta produce in that passing game, and I don't doubt that he could get there because he seems like a guy with really good work ethic, and a guy that will really work at his game. But right now at this point, I can't put him above Jermaine Johnson. I can't put him above Kayvon. I can't put him above Aiden Hutchinson. So that's why I have Trayvon right there.
So Trent Baalke's messing up again, as we basically saying.
Well, I'm not saying, but you got to do what's right for you. And Trent Baalke you got to realize what Trent Baalke has built his teams on and what he believes. Trent Baalke is a guy who he loves the physical freaks. You know what I'm saying? That's he believes that if we get the biggest, fastest, strongest guys out there, we can coach them up. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the college model. Like we believe we can coach them up and we can get them to, you know what I'm saying, to accomplish the vision that we have for our football team. So I'm not going to say it's a big mistake, but would I do it? No. 15, Chris Olave. Chris Olave is my wide receiver number one. I know he's not everybody else's wide receiver number one, and that's okay. But Chris
You
Olave,
like better than Garrett Wilson?
yes, sir. Chris
Why?
Olave, I believe Chris Olave is better than Garrett Wilson.
Why?
He's an excellent route runner. Reminds me a lot of Torrey Holt. Excellent route runner, and he can flat out fly too. He
And Wilson
runs
can't.
4.3s.
Please say Wilson's not a good route runner. That's why he's not.
No, they're different types of route runners. I'm not going to get too far into the different type. But Garrett Wilson is a very good route runner. I'm not saying that Garrett. So pros and cons between Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. A lot of Garrett Wilson, I would say, is a better receiver at the catch point. He's better with contested catches than Olave. And that's the separating factor why most people, or a lot of guys, have Garrett Wilson above Olave. But I believe Olave creates better separation. I believe top end Olave has more top end speed. I think we're splitting hairs when we talk about route running because I believe Garrett Wilson is more of a snappy, sharp route runner, and Olave is more of a smooth route runner that sets guys up with more of like he's more bendy with his route running. But I think Olave's route running creates more separation, and that's why I have him above Garrett Wilson. But at the end of the day, they're one spot away from each other, and and I'm splitting hairs here because my number 16 player is Garrett Wilson, and Garrett Wilson, just like I said, he's a great route runner. He reminds me a lot of Odell Beckham Jr. I don't think he has it. Well, watching him on tape, I didn't believe that he has the same top end speed that Odell Beckham had when he was coming out of college. I believe that Odell was a better athlete, but watching the combine, I guess Garrett Wilson has he's just as fast as Odell. So seeing that at the combine and getting that confirmation leads me to believe that Garrett Wilson, I already believe Garrett Wilson's going to be a really good player, and I have him at 16. Number 17, Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning, you have something to say? Oh, I saw your mouth moving. I thought you were going to say something. But Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from northern Iowa. This guy plays with a mean streak. This guy, he's polarizing, right? So we saw him at the Senior Bowl. A lot of guys loved him. A lot of guys hated him. Like he does a lot of that little Patrick Beverly stuff where just like he's getting under guys' skin and just like, oh man, like just play football. And then some guys are just like, yeah, I need my offensive lineman to play angry. But he's also a super athlete as well. Like this dude's a guy.
What about the level of competition? What was that? What about the level of competition? You think he's ready?
That's something you got to look for. But when we seen him at the Senior Bowl, he held his own. But we're gonna have to see. I mean, there's no way for us to see that until we see them on the field. So that's one thing we're not gonna know. But some things we're not gonna know. Like we say with Nakobe Dean never ran a 40. Like he didn't run a 40 at his pro day, didn't run a 40 at the combine. He never did the shuttle drills. He never did none of that stuff. So we're gonna go into the draft not knowing, about his speed. So we got to rely on the film. But there's some things we just don't know with some players. But number 18, I have Andrew Booth Jr. Andrew Booth Jr. is an absolute playmaker at cornerback. I mean, this dude has some of the best ball skills you see out of a defensive back, making one-handed catches, all kinds of spectacular interceptions. He can play the ball extremely well. He has fast feet, quick hips. He can play zone. He can play man. He can tackle. He's competitive. What else do you want out of a corner?
Playing the ball better. I've seen him, but he didn't play the ball.
Who said play the ball better?
Yeah, that's what the scout reports say. I've seen the tape too, and
Man, I don't know.
there were times I wasn't
Andrew,
impressed with him in Clemson last year, but yeah, but
man, with the balls in the air, I trust Andrew Booth to come down with it. But number 19, Drake London. Drake London, big athletic receiver. I think he's like 6'4". Kind of
yeah,
puts you in the mindset of
he should be higher up your
kind of puts
board.
you in
I
the
was fine.
mindset of a Brandon Marshall type, where he's going to be able to make the contested catches. But actually, this guy can move. I mean, he can get away from some guys and make some big plays down the field. So he's a guy that's gonna make somebody excited. So excited to draft him. Number 20, Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd is the modern linebacker. He has the size to play in the box, and also his 40 kind of scared me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think he might have ran 4.7. That might be a little troublesome carrying guys down the field. But
As a
I've seen,
linebacker, right? The
yeah,
linebacker from
he's an inside linebacker. But
from
but
Utah, yeah.
on tape, we've seen him carry receivers and play coverage and zone pretty well. But hey, how is it going to translate to the NFL? 21, Zion Johnson. Zion Johnson is a very versatile interior lineman. He can play guard. He can play center. He can pretty much play anything on the offensive line. I mean, this guy's a smart guy. He went to Boston College. Showed out at the Senior Bowl. He's my number 21. I'm starting to move a little quicker here. 22, Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie. He is 5'10". He's not the biggest corner, but he can play slot. If you move him to slot, I think he will be one of the best nickels in the game. He has really good feet, really smooth hips. He can really cover. A lot of times you don't really know how good these Washington corners are in man because they mix up their coverages a lot. They play a lot of zone. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, McDuffie is he showed the combine he can really run too. So you don't have to worry about that. He can run with guys down the field. So he's my number 22 guy. 23 Kenyon Green. He's a guard that can really move people. He played a little bit of tackle at Texas A&M, but he's going to play guard in the NFL. He really moves guys off the ground, off the line of scrimmage. Really good knee bend. He's very very flexible. He can move, and he's an athletic guard that can move people. I mean, what else do you really want? I mean, number 24, George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis can play the run very well. He might not be the most fluid guy. I remember at the beginning of the year he was a lot higher, but
yeah, he was way up the board.
A lot of edges kind of climbed up and kind of passed up a little bit. So he's my 24, and 25 Jamison Williams. He had the ACL, so he's dropping a little bit, but yeah, he's a guy he can take
a job up in there.
Yeah, Jamison Williams could take the top off of any defense. And now we're at 25. That's number 25. And that's real tough because there is a lot of guys I could have slipped in there. And there's a lot of guys that I wanted to slip in there. I'm going to start naming a couple guys. Jahan Dotson. I'm a really big Jahan Dotson fan. I mean, he can run out the catch. He's not the biggest receiver, but he plays the ball at the catch point very well. He's a good route runner. He's going to be a really good slot in the league. Treylon Burks moves around. He's shown that he can do a lot of different things with the ball and play in a lot of different spots at receiver. Lewis Seen comes off the roof. He's a missile. Extremely athletic. He can play in the box. He can play on the roof. He can do a lot of things. I love Roger McCreary. Everybody's a little lower on Roger McCreary than I am. There was a point where I thought I had Roger McCreary as my cornerback 3 because I just love his competitiveness. He plays the game the way I want the game to be played. Like he's a guy that says, okay, you're Jameson Williams, okay, but I'm a guard you man to man all day, and I'm just be on you like glue. He reminds me a lot of Tre'Davious White, and he's a guy I really wanted to slip in there. Kenneth Walker III he needs no explanation. He should have been in New York. He should have been a Heisman finalist. It was a crime that he wasn't. He won the Walter Camp Award for. He was voted by the coaches the best player in America, and he was not invited in he was not invited to New York. But hey, it is what it is. Another guy I wanted to have in there: Travis Jones, Christian Harris. Just a whole bunch of guys that I love in this draft, and I just couldn't put in there. Is there anybody that I didn't name that you believe should be in the top 25?
All right, Hammer.
I can tell you quickly.
I thought you did a thorough job. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of people. I think as we start to think it through, there's a lot of folks who could probably be there. But I think the way you framed it was a little bit different. I think, I think you start pushing back at yours if you start to think about those prime positions. But you're saying, hey, you're saying.
So what about quarterback? You don't think any quarterback is worthy of top 25 at all?
Do you see any quarterback that's better than Jameson Williams?
I don't see it.
It matters. I mean, Malik Willis has great athletic ability. I mean, you got Jameson Williams coming for ACL, so I can say
No. What I'm saying is, for their position, is there any quarterback that's a better quarterback than Jameson Williams as a wide receiver?
Again, like I said, it's about potential production. No, you look at production, but again, like I said, potential. I mean, there's some people who think Pickett will be a really good pick. I don't think so. I think small hands, but Malik Willis is somebody that intrigues me, though. He intrigues me. No, I don't think. Again, I don't think as far as pure skill level, there are going to be some quarterbacks that are going to go in this draft. But as far as wide receivers, wide receiver draft is sick. It's an excellent wide receiver draft. So I mean, I'm not gonna. Well, you got Christian. Watson should be up in there. I don't know why he's not in your top 25. I put the Jabu. I mean, I think he'll come back from the Achilles. Also, I like Wendell Robinson. I think you dissing him. Why is he in your Damon Clark? Why is he in
Wendell Robinson? Wendell Robinson.
Damon Clark. I mean, I think he's obviously he had neck surgery, but I think he's going to project. Before next surgery, he was projecting Alex Pierce, from Cincinnati. Really, really solid wide receiver. So yeah, again, some of the people I thought were, the biggest reach. I'm trying to find a brother White. What was his brother's name again? I heard what's his brother's name? White. First name White.
White.
No, not White.
That I didn't pick, or
it's a guy that was trying to think. It was somebody said a physical freak. It'll come to me in a second, man.
You're talking about Trevor Penny.
No, not Trevor Penny. He was like 15 or so.
On my list? My 15
was weird first name.
My 15 was Chris Olave, I believe.
After Olave, it was
I picked Olave and Garrett Wilson at 16.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Then 17
was Trevor Penny.
Okay, 18.
Andrew Booth.
Okay, I remember Andrew Booth. 19.
Drake London.
20.
Devin Lloyd.
Okay, it had to be higher up. 21.
You know what I'm saying? That's tough. That's a deep group right there. You're talking about Christian Watson.
I mean, Lloyd have a little bit lower.
Christian Watson.
I don't know. Go your third. Who's your 13? Your 13. Who's your 13?
13 was Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah, Devontae. What's his name? Devontae what now?
Devontae Wyatt.
Wyatt. Okay, I've heard of him. I'm just trying to remember. I haven't seen him that high on boards though.
Man, Devontae Wyatt is a problem.
I think he's a problem for us because I don't see him. Where'd he go? I don't remember where he went.
He was at Georgia. He was right there with Jordan Davis.
I see right now. Okay, I see. I know who he is, Devontae. Well, I know who he is. Okay, yeah.
He was number 94.
I know who he is now. I know who he is. I know he was with the smaller of Jordan Davis. Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah. The thing I've been I've been dealing with Trayvon more than anything else.
Oh,
But yeah.
okay. I've heard a lot of
that's
people
because he came out of nowhere. I'm like, what? And I
But to
saw
be
his
honest with you,
production.
I've heard a lot of football people say that Devontae White is better than Jordan Davis.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've heard a lot of people say
I don't think
that.
it's gonna happen though, but I've heard that too. As far as I think because he's smaller, they probably think he can play more downs in the NFL. But like I said, what's his name? Jordan Davis is a few buffets away from being in trouble. So, I mean, I just want to stay in shape. That's the bottom line. So, but again, those are some of the people. But yeah, Devontae Wyatt, like I said, most people have him like second round, bro, third round.
But that's talking about factoring positional value. You know what I'm
saying?
I agree. Defensive
line
usually
we're not arguing. We've had your gotcha moments. Okay, I got you on Andrew Thomas. You got me on the Vince Walker. Because I looked at that tape. I wanted to do a retake because that's what I take.
We're talking about positional value versus best player available. When I say best player available, I believe he's up there. But you're saying that other people are saying he's second round. He's second round because of positional value.
Yeah, because positional value, and because you have to pick the Jordan Davis of the world.
Yeah, talk about, but then we can talk about like Kyle Hamilton as well, because a lot of guys when they do their big board,
it's not like a safety draft. Yeah, so he's gonna go higher. People think
will have Kyle Hamilton number 2 or number 3 overall, and then they do their mock draft and he's 15 or he's 12. Because
that's because of 40. It's a shame he didn't. The 40 at the combine really cost him a lot of money. But again, it might be better for him. He might get in a better position instead of being like
a guy I like because of his versatility. I would say, but I don't know if he's gonna belong in the top 25. But I like him. I'm trying to go at the football. I'm trying to channel my like a football player mind. Like I think the way you're framing this is Daxton Hill.
Yeah. I've seen him. I was surprised he wasn't. I thought he might be on your list.
He was right there at the end. He was right there.
He's got versatility. He can play safety and corner. I mean, I think he's going to surprise the people in the draft. I think he might go higher because
Daxton Hill, Jaquan Brisker as well, Jalen Petre. A lot of there are a lot of guys in that mold. That
what about Lewis Klein though? You don't like him?
I did say Lewis Seen. Like at the end, I said he wasn't in my top 25, but Lewis Seen was in my honorable mention, so to speak, at the end when I said.
What about Kyler Gordon? You don't like him?
I don't know enough about Kyler Gordon. I'll just say that I don't know enough. But you got
Brees Hall. What about Brees Hall? Just because he's a running back, obviously. Value not gonna be up.
He's good. No, he's good, but he's not better than Kenneth Walker. And Kenneth Walker wasn't in my top 25.
So I'll say this because we got a lot on the table.
What about Nick Petit-Frere?
No.
I'll say this. Well, Darnell, this is your big board. You put a lot into it. You gave the people a lot. Yes. We came back. You went deep into your bag here. You set this up. I give it to you. We got the draft coming around the corner. We'll come back and look at how your board played out. So other people, I know obviously when they draft, you start talking about positional value and some of these other pieces come in. But it's going to be interesting to see where these core players you talk about, where they go, who they go to. We'll come back and revisit that when they have some decals next to them, and what you think they can do for each of those teams that they go to now that you kind of got them in your core group. And then that's where the debate will start happening, because once they start getting them team assignments, we'll start to really start to get real with it.
Yeah. We only start clowning.
Go. Well, that's one thing that really matters is what situation guys go to, what team they go to, because like I had Linderbaum really high. If Linderbaum goes to the Ravens, he's screwed. I'll tell you that right now. If Linderbaum goes to the Ravens and they got him blocking back, and now he's got to he's in this power run scheme. He's not going to be the Tyler Linderbaum that we all expect him to be, because that's not what he does. You know what I'm saying? And if Charles Cross would be really, really good on a team that wants to play like the Bills, right? But if Charles Cross goes to Tennessee, that goes to like a team like the Tennessee Titans, where we downhill running every single play, I'm not gonna say he can't do it, but I haven't seen him do it yet, and I'm not gonna be able to see what I projected him to be when I first set it up. But yeah, those are some things to look for. A lot of these things are situational. You know what I'm saying? If I were to do a mock draft, you know what I'm saying, I had Chris Olave as my wide receiver one because well, the way I evaluate receivers, I just believe he's the best receiver. But when I did my mock draft, I had Drake London going before any of the other receivers because I believe if I'm the New York Jets with my second pick in the first round, I'm going Drake London over the other receivers because of we already have Elijah Moore, we already have Braxton Berrios. I need a bigger receiver that can go over the middle and make those contested catches. So I'm going with Drake London. So even though I believe Olave is number one, the wide receiver one, if when I do my mock draft, I'm not picking him at that spot.
All right. Well, we got it. We'll be able to see it. Everybody watched the draft, but now we got the big board up here, and it's going. Appreciate it. All right. So we're gonna end this thing up a little bit. We're gonna have to, I'm trying to get my technical game together right now. We're gonna
Are we dropping the mic?
We're gonna drop the mic real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna end with the youngest since he gave us all the goodies today. I'll go first. Hey, it's been quite a NBA season, and one of the things that the great thing about sports is the truth will set you free. At some point, the truth will show up. All the other stuff we'll talk about, and them true folks are going to show up in this NBA season. All the pretenders are going to be exposed, and so we got the first exposure, the Nets. And it's all coming together, and folks, when it gets down to it, are gonna show who they are. Yeah, we can talk about injuries, we can talk about that, but at the end of the day, you lace them up, you're gonna beat them. That's what I love about this game, and so enjoy this season, even with the injuries. We got some stories, and we got.
Yeah, dropping the mic. It's about the Brooklyn Nets, the biggest fraud that we've had in the last probably 25 years. If you had your early money in Vegas and you went to Circa, they said you had $1 million, they would put it down on Kyrie and KD and James Harden, before it happened. And we saw it imploded because Sean Marks doesn't know what he's doing. He needs to go. Imploded because, again, you can't be a coach and allow yourself to be coached by the players. That's what's happening with Steve Nash right now. KD and Kyrie are really the coaches, the co-coaches of the team. He's the coach in name only. Sino, I like to say, coach in name only. So, and you got the drama with Kyrie, with not getting vaccinated. Again, that's his personal choice. But as Stephen A. said, break it down, he's the most unprofessional player he's seen. I agree with that as far as it goes. And I'm not putting his religion. I don't care about religion. I don't care about the world's flat. I care about the fact that he just lacks the professionalism, lacks the urgency. He always has this laissez-faire attitude. The first game he's up there throwing the middle fingers, just unprofessional. And so I'm glad he got swept. And Katie, like I said, he's Robin. He ain't Batman. He plays like Batman. He should be Batman. But the bottom line is that he's got his ring because of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond. That's why he got his ring. He didn't get his ring because KD brought it. No, he was able to, again, accentuate his talent because of the talent around him. But when he came to Brooklyn, they shut him down. They shut him out. And so Emre Udoka and that great defense. So, Brooklyn, look at the mirror. You got Ben Simmons. Enough said. You brought Ben Simmons in there with headaches and problems. So the bottom line is that I hope that Kyrie can opt out, but opt out. Get out the league. We're sick of Kyrie. I'm sick of KD too in his mess. I want to see, like I said, it'd be nice to see Emre Udoka do his thing. I pull for my black coaches, especially when coaches getting second chance, not know he's non-Alvin Gentrys, Nate McMillan's, give a brother a chance. Like Adrian Griffin should be a coach in the NBA. I'm tired of these retreads, Doc Rivers, all that. So the final thing I'm going to say as far as Brooklyn Nets is that I'm glad y'all got swept. Y'all deserved it. Drop the mic.
All right, so my drop the mic is going to be about the fight that is finally here. This Saturday, we have Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. It's a fight we've been looking for the last 2 or 3 years when they're both fighting in the 126-pound division. When Shakur Stevenson was coming up fresh out of Olympics, building his name up, he worked his way up into being into the mandatory position for Oscar Valdez's belt. And Oscar Valdez promptly dropped the belt and moved up to 130. And Shakur took that vacant belt, and he ended up moving up and chasing Valdez. And he won a belt of his own at 130, defeating Jamel Herring. And he's put himself in position to fight Oscar Valdez. The public pressure has got to Valdez. He said it himself. He says he walks the streets of Mexico, and all the people there ask him, when are you going to fight Shakur? When are you going to fight Shakur? And he says the fights that the fans want to see is the fight the fans are going to get. And one thing you got to understand about Oscar Valdez is this is a guy that when it comes to, inside that square circle, he's tough as nails. This guy is not going to quit. He's fought through a broken jaw and still came out with a victory. This guy that he was doubted in a battle against Miguel Burchelt. Nobody thought he could win. This is a fight that I picked Burchelt in, and he pulled out a dominant performance. So it's going to be a fight to really watch for, and this has the potential of being the fight of the year. Having a guy with the skill set of Oscar Valdez, the explosiveness, the power, the left hook that he has, and going against the guy in Shakur Stevenson that Troy King calls him Too Sharp Shakur, and I think that's a great nickname for him, kind of like reminiscent of the nickname, Too Sharp, Mark Too Sharp Johnson, so ode to him, with the skill set that Shakur has. And that's not the only fight that we have Saturday. Another fight that we have is Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. This is a big fight for women's boxing. Two women that are at the top of the sport. Serrano is a little older than Katie Taylor, but she is one of my favorite female boxers in the game. She has a aggressive style, but she's also very skillful as well. I'm picking Amanda Serrano in that matchup, but I would not be surprised if Katie Taylor pulled it out. This is a true 50-50 fight. And we're going to have a good night of boxing on April 30th. Drop the mic.
All right. Thank y'all. And we'll see y'all next time here on RSG One Mic. Peace.
Yes, today. Yes, today. As we start the show, this one mic. We hail. There is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughs up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And then at that particular time, I lost it. Devon dropped. Yes, today.
Blog Talk Radio.
Show this one mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And you can do that. People talk a lot about their training staff.
Blog.
Yes, today, as we start this show, this one mic,